I got my first tattoo. I had about 3 years in when I got my first tattoo. The popularity is definitely there. A lot of people do get them. Some people get them as a passage of just entering once they get accepted to enter the Coast Guard.
In the service, we all share our tattoo stories. Um, we call it sea stories. Not every sailor has tattoos. Not every sailor likes tattoos. So I will say that we will talk about our tattoos and share our sea stories according to what happened to us while we were at sea, according to our duties. Most of our tattoos represent what we do.
Significance is the left side of my arm would be the old Coast Guard. The right side portrait would be new. And basically, this is how lives were saved back in the day with the breeches buoy. With the Cape May Lighthouse in the back has a significance where some families from. And then the right side is the harbor in New York with a coastie grabbing the American flag from a fireman. 343 firemen died that day. So this is how it was in 2001, and this is how it was prior to that.
Tattoos personally mean to me, like I said before, for me it represents basically all the tattoos I have represent some part of me, whether my personality or anything I've been through or anything that I'm trying to become. I do have that corresponds to the Coast Guard. There are two mermaids and there's a nautical star, and that represents a sense a lot of things, but that nautical star represents the time that I spent out in sea. I don't know if I'll ever do time in sea again, but that represents the great times, the bad times, the times where I wasn't sure of myself. So that nautical star with the mermaids does actually represent, my time at sea.
When I adorn this tattoo, one letter per knuckle, it's a fellow sailor at sea. Sometimes you're stationed with a whole lot of people and you don't know their name right away, so they holler out shipmate. Underway, I address from 50 to 150 folks at one time. Normally starts off by shipmates. Taking care of your own at sea. We're out there saving lives and doing the job every day.
There is something unique about my Neptune tattoo on my right calf. The tattoo doesn't show the eyes of Neptune, since I'm acting as the eyes of Neptune right now for the United States Coast Guard and the nation. I'm looking at people's safety before they hit the seas, ensure safety of life. Once I retire, the eyes will be drawn in the tattoo as a completion of my duty and to ensure safety for my own life.
Right here, it's the full-masted rig going home. It's adorned with my daughter's name, Victoria Morgan. When you're at sea, there's a lot of superstition. Nautical stars, a fully rigged ship pointed towards you, you're going to get home safe, along with some others I have on my feet. There's a superstition at sea. Back in the day, pigs and roosters were placed in crates, and these were two animals that didn't swim. So one or the other, if it was said to sailors to go into the water and not drown, they would place a tattoo of a pig and a rooster on their feet, and then these animals would get that sailor home safely. Putting them in a crate, these things would float free and then eventually make their way home. So again, kind of superstitious, but again, when you're at sea, you have each other to rely on. Having a little bit of superstition and carried on tradition, I was okay with that.
The reason why I got tattoos is to remember big impacting situations of my life, so I can carry them on me and say, I went through this, we survived, we got out of it. I love tattoos. I think tattoos can represent what you've been through, and you can show other people what you've been through, and you can share your sea stories with them. I have another tattoo on my left calf. It's a phantom pirate vessel. Pretty much, it has a lot to do with my personal life. When my second daughter was being born, there was a lot of problems that my wife went through, and there was a lot of rough seas ahead. The tattoo I did to represent those times and to remember them for the rest of my life, it's on my leg. I decided to ship in the rough seas because that's what I do for a living.
Well, yeah, as far as tattoos represent me, on my left forearm I have somewhat of a scroll. It's tattooed manhood, and that was my grandfather. Um, Everything I pretty much do now that got from him, as far as how to dress, how to talk, how to be respectful, how to be a gentleman, and how only to show anger when it's necessary. And my last tattoo about the shape of Africa with the American flag. I see a lot of people with either Scottish flags on them, Italian flags, Texas flags on them, and I realize, I need something to represent me.
Most of my tattoos represents parts of my life. And instead of just being vocal about it, I decided to patch together a mural pretty much of different stages throughout my life. So it's kind of like a window to the soul. Normally your eyes don't get tattooed. That way you can have an open soul. You can openly communicate with someone. They can visually see where you've been in an instant. Just like if you were in a full dress uniform, the first impression of rank, of your chest candy, your ribbons and medals and awards are shown, which can give you a quick snapshot. Well, my tattoos are kind of like the same thing. You could take one look, say that guy's been to sea.
It symbolizes unity because everyone has one. Not everyone, but a majority of people have one. And it symbolizes history and tradition because, like I said before, it dates back to pirates. And it's for the same reason why anyone else would get tattoos, to basically show your feelings, show your enjoyment, show pain, or show a tribute to family. You want people to know, hey, this is a part of me. This is what's happened to me. This is what I've mourned. This is what I've enjoyed. So it's always been through the Coast Guard. It's always been a thing of the Coast Guard, pirates, the Navy. It's always been tradition.
Back in the day, it was something where go out on the Liberty Port, go get tattooed, have a couple beers. Where today it's more, they express themselves in the art. And it has to be disciplined to show positive light. There's a bunch of rules and regulations now that would put me out of bounds if I was to join today, but I was grandfathered in. So you have to make a good conscious decision. It's not done on a whim. Leadership's involved. And in good taste. It has to be within bounds of good taste. And there's a list in the manual. Like back in the day, there was a tattoo that was a recipe for liberty. I believe it says stewed, screwed, and tattooed. And it was this traditional artwork. Back in the day, that was something they might adorn, but in today's Coast Guard, the young men and women, they go out, they paint houses, they fix up schools in foreign countries, they do a lot of positive. So that really doesn't apply to today's maritime service. You do more good than just tear up the town on a Liberty Port like you would see in Mr. Roberts in a movie or so.
This thing with tattoos, you have to keep in mind, this is something that you could possibly have on you for the rest of your life. So you need to make sure whatever it meant the day you got it, that meaning is still valid years down the road. So, if you like Tweety Bird and you decide to have Tweety Bird tattooed on you, 30 years from now, you should still like Tweety Bird.